Well, if you are looking for a job, this might hit a nerve. A new survey from resumebuilder.com says 4 out of 10 companies post jobs they never planned to fill. They're called ghost jobs. They are quite controversial. And Eric Thompson is with truthinjobads.org to talk more about this. Eric, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Can you just better explain what ghost jobs are?
Absolutely. Ghost jobs initially started with small startup firms trying to attract venture capital investments. The growth, the need for employees was always considered to be a positive sign for a startup. And so they started publishing ads purely to attract venture capitalists to come in and invest. Then it became more of a resume gathering and kind of building a stable of available talent and to see what was out there doing resume and salary negotiation research for HR firms. As we saw the cost to entry and the cost to advertise jobs drop, especially with the removal of recruiters from the process who weren't getting paid for it anymore, this became more and more prevalent. And it also became a weapon against current employees because now you can say, well, we have 30 people lined up to take your job. And we actually see that in several different companies.
Are these more prevalent in certain industries?
It started off really becoming prevalent, widespread with the advent of COVID and the remote workers. And that is where we saw it initially balloon up. People were trying to jump ship, go to remote work. And when they started reaching out, they were finding these jobs were staying open for months, if not years. That companies never had an intent to fill them, but companies were putting out the feelers all the same.
I like to consider myself an honest person, and the truth is sometimes fleeting these days. To me, this just seems like lying.
It is. It's fraud, and across the board. You are misrepresenting the growth of your company. You're misrepresenting the availability of a job to someone. It would be no different than you putting out a product for sale on a showroom floor and then getting people's interest to come in and see it and then not having the product to sell.
The survey also says 70% of hiring managers say ghost jobs help morale. What's that argument?
They keep saying that it shows that the company, once again, it goes back to the company is growing or there's spots out there and that there's growth within the company itself. And it's mostly not true. When you talk to people and they talk to them about ghost jobs, especially if you're on the job hunt and trying to move out of a toxic environment, it's turning into a mental health issue. And now we're seeing criminal actors get in on it, where it's now becoming a danger to people.
Where does the information go? Say you apply for a job. What are these people doing with the info if they're not using it to hire people?
There's actually a major cybersecurity firm that admitted online that they gather it to do data mining. They take everybody's resume coming in and they see where they worked, what companies they had in common, when they were hired, and from that they can tell when projects kicked off. If they were hired and they worked on a cybersecurity project 4 years ago, that company now knows that, okay, our lifespan on our product is about 5 years. Let's go start attacking this company. They're never intending to hire that person. The other ones we see are more nefarious data miners, which are usually foreign companies, and they are doing the same thing, but on a much larger scale, and then selling that company info back to marketing firms and sales organizations that then tell you, if you want to go into, say, company A, this guy is the CTO of company A and he has a budget of this. They data mine all of that from these resumes. And then you have the really nefarious actors, which will go through and they're actually there to steal your personal information and have identity theft. And those guys go as far as hiring you, having you fill out tax forms, direct deposit forms, and now they've got your social security number, your bank account information, and then they can do with your identity what they need to at that point.
Are there any are people losing money? Are there numbers on this?
There's no. The biggest problem we have right now is proving that this problem exists. We've found where people admit that it exists. sorry, we have individual job seekers that have tracked it, and not just one. We're talking about hundreds of people who've tracked it and been able to prove that these jobs just don't exist, even though they're posted. But we don't have anything governmental that says this exists and that this happened. It's a lot of testimonials, mostly found online, and that's what our group is currently wrapping up as those testimonials to take to our legislatures to get political action on it.
And your group is truthinjobads.org. I'm speaking with Eric Thompson this morning. So tell me about the Truth in Job Advertising and Accountability Act.
So we started this about 18 months ago. I had a good friend who lost his job. He spent about 9 months on the market looking, and he was complaining. And I was like, well, that doesn't really exist. And I didn't believe it. So we went out in a few hours, started looking to try to help him find a job, because the easiest way to find a job is to be referred into a position. We started looking, we found out this was bad. And then last October, the startup I was looking for went under. And, well, it didn't go under, but it restructured. And we started looking at finding a job. And I started running into things. And I started documenting. And then a couple of other people that I worked with were in the same boat. We really started coming up with what we needed to do. We did not want to control the way companies do business, but what we went back to and said, what we need to do is slap a nutrition label on every job. And that's what the TJAAA really focuses on, is making sure that companies who advertise, recruiters who advertise, and job boards who repeat the job advertisement are all accurate and complete in what they're saying. And that companies aren't just putting things out there. We do time limit the job application, or the job advertisement, so that you can only apply and have it posted for 90 days at a time. And if they repost it, they have to tell us, so that you're not looking at a job that's been out there for 2 years. And the only way you can know it's been out there for 2 years is if you've been doing the research. Certain job boards are starting to put stuff out there, but not enough.
I haven't heard a lot of people talking about this. It is very concerning to me. Where does the legislation stand right now?
So several states are further along than the national. We got looked at it, approaching it, because most of us are based here in Virginia, attacking it at a state level, and we found that was pretty much impossible to do, that there was no real way to do it. There are several states, California, New Jersey, Texas, that have gone and started progressing. We have a similar legislation that just passed up in Canada. And we said from a national level, that's where we need to address. So we went live with our legislative outreach in June. We have since then met with over 50 congressmen's offices. We have met with the administration briefly, and we are seeing a real grassroots campaign come up and trying to drive it forward. Our goal is to have it onto the House floor with a sponsor in the next session.
Are you confident that'll happen?
Yes, because we found that the other House members had already pursued similar legislation in the past, and it kind of died because they had other priorities in the last session. And so we're building on that momentum and growing. It's a true bipartisan issue. We have, of our responses back, it's a 50-50 split down the board between Republicans and Democrats. So we feel that it has energy, and it's been a known problem for a few years. The Congressional Research Service, the CRS, actually on their website posted an article about ghost jobs in 22. So they knew it existed then, and it of course exists now. What we hear most of the time when we go and actually talk to a labor staff or a member of the caucus is that they're aware of the issue, or they know somebody who's been affected by it, and they're pushing to go. They're looking to push forward, but they really wanted a grassroots campaign, which is what we are.
With so many people looking for jobs right now, this is a real eye-opener, and I appreciate your time. Where can our listeners and viewers find some more information?
So our website is truthinjobads.org. You can go out there. There is all of our supporting documentation is out there, along with a copy of the bill itself. You can just download it and read it.
Eric, I appreciate your time. Eric Thompson with truthinjobads.org. Thank you.